I'm not a system player. I am a system.
I feel like what I said in my last James Harden video summed up exactly how I and a lot of NBA fans felt about the Los Angeles Clippers trading for James Harden. In my last Harden video, I said that I didn't want to hate the trade because I saw the potential. But at the same time, I did hate that the Los Angeles Clippers felt that they needed to trade for James Harden in the first place. Let's be real. Since acquiring Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, the Los Angeles Clippers have been incredibly unfortunate. Even Paul George himself admits that his current legacy with the Los Angeles Clippers has been plagued by the injuries that have surrounded him and this team and their inability to finish. While the Los Angeles Clippers still have time to figure this whole thing out, their clock is ticking and their path to the top of the Western Conference isn't getting any easier. The good news for the Clippers is that with this James Harden trade, the Los Angeles Clippers are now more talented than they've ever been. The bad news is that their potential for disaster has now reached territories that no man has willingly ever stepped foot in. Coincidentally, Harden's debut with the Clippers would tell us a lot about Harden while also revealing a lot about the direction of this team. And we have to get into that, but first, today's content is brought to you guys by PrizePicks. For those of you that don't know what PrizePicks is, it's a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players and then decide if they will have more or less than their PrizePicks projection. PrizePicks is super simple as it's just you against the projections, and submitting an entry is effortless. You can literally submit a PrizePicks entry in less than 60 seconds. It really is that easy. Personally, I love PrizePicks because it adds a ton of excitement to my viewing experience, and it puts my knowledge of the game to the test. To get in on the action, download the PrizePicks app today and use code COOP to get your first deposit matched for up to $100. Thank you, PrizePicks, for sponsoring today's content. Ahead of Harden's debut, Harden would say something that would grab the attention of everybody.
I'm not a system player. I am a system.
Harden would say that I am not a system player, I am a system. While this quote grabbed headlines, this quote by itself would be severely lacking context and made it seem like James Harden wanted to be the James Harden from Houston that averaged 36.1 points en route to shattering scoring records, when in fact, that isn't what Harden was hunting coming to Los Angeles at all.
I don't think, when I'm in a leash, I'm not meant just shooting the basketball every time. I meant like, I think the game and I'm a creator on the court. You know what I mean? So if I got a voice to where I can, hey coach, I see this, what you think about this? Then it's like, oh, okay. Like somebody that trusts me, that believes in me, that understands me, that I'm just not I'm not a system player. I am a system. You know what I mean? So somebody that can have that dialogue with me and understand and move forward and figure out and make adjustments on the fly throughout the course of games, that's all I really care about. It's not about me scoring a basketball, scoring 30, 34 points. I've done it already. So that's what I meant by that.
When Embiid heard Harden say this, he would instantly call BS, letting it be known that the 76ers gave Harden everything in the world that he needed to be successful, including the basketball. Basically, what Harden was trying to say with this statement is that he isn't a role player and that he's still one of the best creators in the game who is capable of playing the game on a cerebral level. So he wants to feel that way when he's on the floor. Although Harden is right to be confident in his ability and coming off of averaging a career best 10.7 assists last season, to say that you are a system and not a system player before joining a new team isn't exactly the best look. While the James Harden system is still valuable, you have to hope that this team is talented enough to where they won't need the James Harden system every night. There are going to probably be nights where he's going to have to fill a role and make himself valuable when the ball isn't coming his way. Ironically, coming into Harden's debut against the New York Knicks, Ty Lue would make it known that Harden would be playing more off-ball so that Westbrook could be the point guard. Though I feel like this was a great gesture from Ty Lue, over time I do believe that Harden's passing ability will prove to be too valuable. Say what you want about Harden, but you can't say that this man isn't a great passer. To me, this man is simply too valuable on the ball, in part because he doesn't have a lot of value off of it. I think that what I'm about to say might be an unpopular opinion because Harden is obviously the better shooter, but at this stage of their careers, I do believe that Westbrook is a better off-ball player than Harden if he's knocking down his shots at a respectable clip like he has been this season. Westbrook is a lot more active off-ball than Harden and willing to do a lot of things that James Harden just hasn't. Now that's not to say that Harden won't change. That would just have to be one of those things that I would need to see to believe. That being said, I'm not sure that I would love to be the team that's heavily invested in Westbrook's ability to shoot the ball consistently from deep, especially when the playoffs roll around and all it takes is a few bad possessions to sway a game. Ultimately, I envision that the minutes between these two will be heavily staggered in an attempt to keep a playmaker on the floor. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked to see one of Harden or Westbrook eventually be benched. But you know what? Forget the offense because that should eventually figure itself out. What I want to know is what this team is going to do on defense. There's no way that this team can start Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Zubac and expect to have a championship level defense. The Clippers' defensive shortcomings were on full display in Harden's debut. How bad was the defense, you ask? Well, they let a Julius Randle, who was struggling, drop 27 points and 10 rebounds. How bad was Julius Randle struggling before playing the Clippers? This man was having the worst shooting start to a season since 1959. Sadly for my Clippers fans, Zubac and Plumlee make up one of the worst defensive center rotations in the entire NBA. Plumlee is allowing players to shoot 14.1% better than normal inside of 6 feet. Meanwhile, Zubac is allowing players to shoot 4.1% better. And honestly, these numbers don't tell you the full story. To make matters worse for Clippers fans, they just lost Plumlee to what looked to be a very serious injury. I would love to see this team add an enforcer or a rim protector, as I believe that these types of bigs are one of the best ways to compensate for poor perimeter defenders. But poor perimeter defense or not, a player like this could definitely take this Clippers defense to another level. A lineup of Harden, Mann, George, Kawhi, and Daniel Gafford or Clint Capella could potentially have a lot of versatility and be very pesky to play against. Which thank goodness that this team didn't trade Mann, as they're going to need him more now than ever, as this roster has too many players who rely on touches to have an impact. In the comments below, let me know what bigs that you would like to see this team somehow make a play for. I say somehow because they'll have to scrape the bottom of their pockets again to pull off a move. Remember that this team doesn't outright own its own first round pick until 2030. Things like this, along with the Clippers losing key contributors to its small ball lineup, are also some of the major reasons that I was so against the James Harden trade. There's just so much potential for disaster here. But again, I understand the Clippers feeling the need to take that risk, and in fact, I applaud them. In Harden's debut, he'd actually looked pretty good while also looking to be willing to play whatever style that the Clippers need from him. He'd drop an effortless 17 points, taking only 9 shots while hitting 6 of them. He'd also get 6 assists to go along with that 17 points. In Harden's debut, I saw the potential, and I also saw that this team needs more reps together, and perhaps most of all, along with health, it needs its stars and Ty Lue to be great. After the Clippers' L to the Knicks in Harden's debut, Ty Lue would say that the 10-game trial has been reestablished, which has to be terrifying to hear if you're a Clippers fan. You don't necessarily need to have a set-in-stone rotation 10 or even 20 games into the season, but you should have an idea of what you want to do and what you want your team's identity to be. Guys, here's to hoping that the Clippers add some size soon so that they can protect Ty Lue from himself. In the comments below, let me know how good that you think that this Clippers team will be. And also, let me know what you thought of James Harden's debut in New York. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.